Hello, Stitchy friends. How's everybody doing? Today is Saturday, June 6th, 2026, and I am back to stitch with you again. I'm going to spend a little bit of time this morning working on my mystery full coverage piece, and I wanted to sit down and share that time with you. So welcome. I hope you enjoy this little hour and a half that we'll be stitching together, and I hope you've got a project ready to stitch along with me. And we'll just kind of get started. I will have the video going of hopefully a close-up of my work, and I'll just kind of be stitching and chatting as we go. So again, this is the mystery piece. If you watched my latest Flosstube, you had the option of looking at what I was stitching or not looking at it, but I did sort of reveal what this motif is, and a lot of you have guessed it at this point. So I am really excited to keep going on this piece and yeah, keep having you guess as to what's coming up next. So today I'm going to start right here at the bottom of the mouth. So we'll probably finish her mouth here, which hopefully will look good once I'm done with that little section in the diagonal. And then we'll keep working through some of the more grays and whites of the hair here. I don't know how much further we'll get than that, but because I think there's a lot of confetti in that part. So we'll just see, and we'll just take it one row, one stitch at a time. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll get started. I have my coffee again this morning, so I'm going to be sipping that throughout the morning as I'm still trying to kind of wake up and get ready for the day. I did manage to go for a longer run this morning, which I'll probably talk about a little bit as we get stitching, but yeah, just time for some coffee with you. Again, as I always say, there might be times of quiet in this video where I'm not talking because I'm sort of concentrating or counting, but just know that I'll get back to it, and it's not, there's nothing wrong with the video. I'm just just quiet at the moment. So we'll start stitching, and as always, I kind of start with the thread that's closest to the right-hand side. So I'm going to pick that one. I believe that one's already got a needle on it. So I do have to sort of reorganize here since it's been a little bit since I worked on this piece. But I want to get these kind of parked threads separated out here so that these ones can get out of the way. Okay. And this one already has a needle. So I think we are ready to go. There might be some untangling that needs to happen here in the beginning, but we'll find our way and kind of work through it. And okay, I thought this one had a needle, but now I'm realizing it does not. So I will be using this one. Again, I've got my trusty Clover needle minder. I know I keep highlighting this, but it's only because I love it so much. It really is my favorite tool, so much so that I even bought a backup just in case anything happens to this one, but it's my favorite tool to use to thread the needle. So we're just going to start stitching here. Again, I'm not going to show the pattern just because I don't think I'm not really doing this as a tutorial. I'm just kind of doing it to share with you and spend some time stitching with you. So I'm not going to share the pattern itself, but I do have it over here on my iPad, and hopefully my head is not getting into this screen here. I think last week there were a few times where I did kind of bob in and out, but just kind of getting used to the filming setup here still. So as I mentioned, I did go for sorry, I'm just trying to figure out here what I'm doing, because I think this one is parked in the wrong spot. it is. So I'm going to have to figure out where this one goes now. Well, I might just need to end this thread actually because I'm not sure where it goes. So this thread is parked in the place where I'm supposed to park my next stitch, and it's a different color, which means that I must have parked this wrong. And that does happen occasionally. Obviously I'm not perfect, and so I don't know where this belongs or even what color this is. So I'm just going to park it over here so that it's out of the way. And since I don't know what color it is, I'm just going to leave it over here to the side in case I get to a spot where I show that I had parked it and there's nothing there. So that happens occasionally in full coverage. And honestly, I could have sat here and really tried to figure out where it goes so I don't have to end it and then maybe start it again. But I think it's just quicker to, if I don't know what the thread is associated with or it's parked in the wrong spot, then it's easier to just end it until you really find out where it belongs. Okay, I'm actually going to take a break here real quick because I'm not sure where I'm at. So hold that thought. Okay, I'm back. I figured out where this was being parked. I was counting off of the wrong thread. So we're off to a great start this morning. I don't know if it's just I haven't stitched on this in a while and I'm out of form or what's happening, but this could be an interesting video. I might not get very many stitches in if I keep having these sort of issues. But this is the realness of stitching full coverage. It is not a perfect process, and I am definitely not a perfect stitcher either. So now hopefully we are back on track here. So how is your weekend going so far? I know it's only Saturday morning, but probably till you watch this, it will be Sunday. So let me know how your weekend is going in the comments. I always enjoy hearing from you. As a matter of fact, I really enjoyed the week that I asked you what was your favorite, or what was the highlight of your week, I think I asked. And I really just loved reading those responses. it was so fun to see what everyone's highlights of the week were, and just, kind of hearing some of the positives from the week. I know it's not all positive. I know there's a lot of tough things we're going through, but it is good to still kind of look at and focus on the positives when we can. Okay, I think this one goes right here. So yeah, how's your weekend going? Maybe what was the highlight of this week for you? If you want to share, I'd love to know. Highlight for me was definitely, making it through week 2 of my job. Things went really well. I feel like now that I'm in the second week, well, it's hard to believe I'm going into the 3rd week already of this job, but things are starting to click a little bit more, and I'm kind of catching on. I'm starting to see the same things over and over again, and just starting to really kind of grasp what's going on, which is always a good thing. And I'm really grateful for this opportunity. It's been really a good fit, even though I didn't know if this was the right one for me or not. I had a couple different options, and honestly, I kind of thought maybe one of the other ones was going to be a better fit, or was going to be the one that I would take. And yet now that I'm working this one, I'm like, I do think this is the right fit for me for right now, for this sort of transition period, and to gain the experience I need. So I'm just really grateful it all worked out, that this is the one I got. But yeah, the week went really well, and I do feel like I'm starting to really settle into things, which is nice. I also was really excited because this week I got to work from home on Monday and Friday, and I'm kind of hoping that's going to be the new normal. I think that would be a really nice cadence, and sorry, again, I got distracted, I think. Okay, I guess that was right. I thought I had put in the wrong color or the wrong stitch again, but I think it was correct. I'm just all sorts of out of sync today. But no, what I was saying was I think the idea of going into the office twice a week is 3 times a week is much more bearable than going into the office 5 days a week. So if I'm able to work from home on Mondays and Fridays, Mondays were always a remote day. That was sort of like in the proposal of the job, that I would have one day remotely. And now it seems like Fridays will also be that way, because I think just a lot of people don't come into the office on Fridays, and so I think they're going to have me working remotely as well, which is great. It's great for Winston because he gets 2 days a week where I am still home. It's a nice kind of ease back into the working world instead of having to do it 5 days a week. So yeah, I was just really grateful to get to work from home on Friday, and it definitely, saves time because I don't have the commute to and from work, and I'm able to do a few things while I'm working from home too. So yeah, it was just really nice. And then on Friday afternoon, my boss called and was just sort of checking in on how I was doing and what I was working on. And then he said, well, it's a really nice day in the city today, so it's probably going to be pretty slow this afternoon. If you want to check out around 1 o'clock, around 3 o'clock, he's like, just be kind of monitoring your emails, but yeah, feel free to enjoy the day. And I was super happy about that. It's really nice when a boss just kind of tells you, okay, take the afternoon off. Like, it's a really nice day. Just go enjoy it. And I think that's sort of like the culture of the company. They as long as you get your work done and you are a hard worker, they're going to reward you with that by, just by giving you little perks like an afternoon off. So that was really great. I was able to run to the grocery store and do some grocery shopping while it wasn't so crowded. And yeah, that was nice. And then I got to take Winston for a nice long walk in the afternoon, and he appreciated that for sure. So Friday ended up being a really great day, and I wasn't even anticipating being able to work from home. So that was a very nice surprise on Thursday afternoon when I found that out. So yeah, and the work itself, I'm catching on pretty quickly, I would say, and I am enjoying it. I feel confident in what I'm doing. I understand what I'm supposed to do. So it's nice to just go into your job and be able to do it, And I think in my previous position, which I did enjoy, but I was always working in the problems of our tech platform, and so every day was like a new issue that you had to kind of figure out and solve, and it was like you never really knew how to do your job because there was always a new problem coming up. So you were always sort of troubleshooting new things and figuring out new things. And while that is fun, it also can be tiring. And so it's a nice change of pace to just go in and, understand my tasks for each day and feel confident that I know how to do them and do them well. And yeah, I think I'm enjoying that right now. I got my first paycheck this week, which was nice, although it was just a smaller paycheck because it was only for my first week of work, which only had 4 days instead of 5. So it wasn't a full paycheck, but it was really nice to get that, and I did allow myself to celebrate a little bit with that. And just be proud of the fact that I'm here and that I was able to sort of use my studies and get this job, and I'm really happy for that and proud of that. So yeah, work has been good. I also feel like my stitching time this week has been a little bit better than last week, maybe. I still don't have much time in the evenings. It's usually 7 or 7:30 until I'm ready to sit down and stitch. But finding that rhythm to be a little bit more finding my way a little bit more this week, which is nice. So hopefully I will have enough to share on my next Flosstube, which hopefully I will record again on Monday evening. I think that's going to be my plan. And then kind of go from there. just want to see if I can find if this is the color of this one. I have another one that's parked out of place. And yes, I think it is. Yeah. I'm also thinking I might need to maybe serge the edges or something, because I think the edge of this piece, even though I'm not like really using it or moving it that much, but the edges keep coming off, and I do not want to lose my margin just because the edges are fraying, because it's only serged on I think one side. So I might need to take some time to actually do that, kind of get that in order. But yes, back to work. Not that I'll talk about work the whole time, but it's going really well. And I do just want to say again, thank you so much for all the kind words and support. You all have been so understanding of, knowing that my schedule is changing, knowing that I might not have as much stitchy time, and you've all been so sweet and just saying like, it doesn't matter to us. We're just here to see how you're doing and to, keep up with you. So I do really appreciate that. And I think honestly, at least for me, I'm the one that puts the most pressure on myself. So I am the one who puts the pressure on myself to do enough stitching, quote unquote, to make a floss tube and to share with you all. And I need to just learn to let that go, To let it go in the sense of there's no thing as enough stitching, or to not just put the pressure on myself to have so much to show in my videos, but to just really enjoy the hobby and enjoy what we all get to share together. So I'm learning this is a season of letting go of my goals, letting go of my plans, and just stitching and still sharing what I love, and really finding the enjoyment and peace in it, because that's what this is all about. But it is a learning process, especially for someone like me who really does enjoy the planning part of things. And I really do enjoy, kind of mapping out my stitching and meeting my goals and all of that. So eventually I'll find a way to continue doing that and to continue sort of making plans, but just in a different way. But I just haven't got there quite yet. So hopefully more plans will come soon. Gonna take another little coffee break. I think this really is going to be a light stitching video because we're already 20 minutes in, and I have not done a lot. This has been a slower start than I would have anticipated. But again, that's only the pressure that I put on myself. Why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we put that pressure on ourselves when no one else is really telling us you're not stitching enough or you're not doing enough? And yet we, or at least I, really just put that, I make that pressure myself. I guess that's why they say we're our own worst critics, right? Because we sort of have a way of, or at least I have a way of kind of judging myself the hardest. And it's funny because I wouldn't judge anyone else in that way, so why do I do that to myself? I should treat myself like I want to treat others, and that's with kindness and not putting unrealistic expectations or pressure on them. All right, we've got 2 stitches of this color here. I think that will kind of wrap up the mouth. Oh no, and I think I just got a knot in my thread. Got it out. There's 2 stitches of this color. Oops. This is not going well today, huh? Yesterday, I saw that Cross Stitch Meadow had posted a Stitch With Me style video on one of his full coverage pieces. So I haven't watched it yet, but I'm very excited because I really enjoyed his tutorial video on diagonal stitching and how he does it, and so I really do want to check out his Stitch With Me as well. I know he's got a great setup. I'm sure it's like super clear and everything is in place. He does a really great job with his videos. I don't know if you heard that big sigh, but that was Winston. Let me see if I can show you real quick, because he's here. You can see him, and he has his tongue sticking out. I don't know if you can see that or not, because it's sort of on the other side. I don't know if you can see that, but he is sleeping with his tongue sticking out. He's so funny. With full coverage, and especially a full coverage piece that's detailed like this, I'm always amazed what a difference just 2 stitches can make. We just put in those 2 final stitches right here, and that really does complete her mouth. I know it kind of looks like on the side it doesn't connect here, but I think once you get this next diagonal in, it's all going to kind of make sense. Once you pull back, you'll see it more. But yeah, just those 2 stitches really kind of brought it all together. That's why it's fun to watch a piece like this kind of come together, because just 1 or 2 stitches can make a big difference in what you see in the piece. Wonder if you can also hear the birds outside. They are chirping away again today. It's a pretty nice day in the city. It's hot today. I think it's supposed to get up to 90. Even this morning when I went for my run, it was already 75 degrees at like 6 a.m., 6:30. So it's going to be a hot day. But it is June, so that's kind of expected at this point. I thought I was going to do another 10-mile run, so I went to Central Park, and I actually added a few extra miles and did a 12-mile run today. So that kind of felt nice. I had the energy to keep going even though it was hot, and yeah, got in some miles. So it was fun to run in Central Park this morning because they were preparing there was a women's only 10K race in the park today, and so they were kind of getting everything set up and ready for that. So that was fun to see, and you could see all the women kind of stretching and getting ready for the race to start. I'm not exactly sure what time it started, but yeah, it was fun to sort of see that. Maybe that's what gave me the energy to keep going a little further or a little more and do a couple more miles. I'm not sure. Today was the first run here in New York that I've done in a tank top because it was finally hot enough. I feel like the whole time I got back from Florida, obviously I was wearing tank tops in Florida to run, but the whole time I've been back in New York, it really hasn't been hot enough to wear a tank top. So that's kind of nice for a change today. But it definitely did remind me of, hot summer running that's coming up. It's the humidity is just brutal to run in. So maybe it's a good thing I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning to run before work, because once it gets so hot, it can be really, really tough to run. Okay, I thought the mouth was done, but I guess it was not quite, because we're still in some of these pinkish colors here. I'm still using, as you can see, using and loving these thread guards. This is probably the best decision I made for this full coverage piece because it really does make stitching things a lot easier and honestly more fun too. So I'm really grateful that I got these. So yeah, Winston did really well on his second week of work as well. Well, second week of my work. He did really good. He didn't have any accidents in the apartment again, and he was just really excited to see me every day when I got home. but also seemed like he had just been enjoying his kind of nap time. Or his time to rest. So he has been a real trooper about the whole thing. And just been doing well. He's also seemed to get down the new routine of an earlier morning, and then he knows that we get up and then we have his breakfast, and then a few minutes later we go for a walk, and then I leave. And even in the evenings he knows that we go for a walk as soon as I get home, then we come back and eat dinner. So he's adjusting to the routine. It's amazing how smart animals are and how quickly they can learn a new routine, because it's definitely different than when I'm home. So even on the days that I work from home, I try to keep my schedule or our routine pretty consistent so that we don't sort of lose that on the days I have to go into the office. This piece has been really nice to have as sort of my weekend stitch. Since I have a little more time on the weekends, I can film and sit down and stitch with you. And because I just really enjoyed this piece so much, I definitely find myself looking forward to the weekends when I get to work on this. Just because I really like it. So it's nice when I get to Saturday and can really just sit down and enjoy the stitch that I like working on. Not that I don't like working on any of the other ones, but this one has just been a real highlight for me lately, and just a real fun one to pull out. So I look forward to the weekends for that respect as well. I do think now that was maybe the bottom of the lip, and we are getting into finishing the rest of the face now. And again, because this is such a large piece, it's I think 700 wide by almost 1,000 stitches high. And it's just kind of a lot of different motifs. The detail is going to look pixelated at some parts because you can't have all this detail in every single little motif. But so far I'm really enjoying and liking how it's looking, especially when you kind of step back and look at it from afar or look at it on the camera. It's pretty cool to see that. I feel like this is great because you can really see her sort of grimace coming in. She's definitely not smiling. That's for sure. I think I must have had one parked thread that was in the wrong spot, and then because I had been using the parking tool and markup, I based my other parking stitches off of that one parked thread that was wrong, and so I think a bunch of them are parked in the wrong place, and I'm finding it as I go. So that's kind of one thing to watch out for. If you get it wrong, then you're going to be parking a lot of things incorrectly. Maybe that's why I don't use the parking tool as well, because then if I'm not showing the parking in here, I don't count off the parked stitches. I can just kind of do it each time, count each time from where I am, if that makes sense. There's Winston sort of guarding the apartment again. He hears the neighbors in the hallway. Anytime they walk down the stairs, he has to let me know. It's okay. I don't really have a lot of plans the rest of this weekend, now that I got my longer run in already. So today I might just get to stitch on this for a good portion of the day. And the only other plan I have for the weekend is tomorrow I'm going to go to a friend's place to watch the Tony Awards, which are the Broadway awards show, and that'll be a lot of fun. She loves theater as well, and so it'll be cool to see which shows win and hang out with her for a little bit. So I'll do that in the evening tomorrow, and then that will be the end of the weekend. I also do need to run a few more errands tomorrow during the day. But then it will be Monday again. Be back to work, back at it. The weekends do sort of fly by, but I think that's even more why I'm grateful that I have Mondays and Fridays to work from home, because in a way it does sort of just feel like it's an extension of the weekend, although I am working, and this job there is a high volume of work, and so there's not just downtime while I'm home. I'm actually working, and but just being able to be home and, you know, grab a snack from the cupboard when you want, or grab a drink from the fridge when you need to, is just nice, and almost makes it feel like you're kind of on your own time again, which is nice. So doesn't give me the Sunday night blues of having to go back to the office the next day, which I am grateful for. I think this weekend is weekend A of StitchCon, if I'm not mistaken. I've been so out of the loop because, you know, work has just been so taking up a lot of time. I haven't really been able to watch a lot of Flosstube, unfortunately. But I'm pretty sure I heard people talking that this weekend is weekend A of StitchCon, which is super exciting. I hope if you are going, or if you know someone who's going, that they're having a wonderful time, because I had so much fun last year. I was supposed to go again this year. I was supposed to go to weekend B this time, and you know, I just wasn't sure what my financial situation would be like at the time, and I had to cancel before March if I wanted to be able to get a refund. And so unfortunately I had to cancel my StitchCon this year. And that's okay. There'll be other years for sure. But I would have loved to be there. It was a lot of fun last year. Little did I know that I would actually have a job by then. Although I still need to be sort of conscious and saving some money, because it's definitely not quite what I was making before. But I think it's worth it to get the experience and to enjoy more what I'm doing, what I'm working on. Here we are with another really short thread, but I think I only have 3 stitches of it, so I think that's why I sort of left such a short thread here. knowing that I could complete these 3 stitches and then tie it off rather than start a new one. When I stitch like this, I have to have obviously a lot of needles because I have a lot sort of going on at once. So I have a pile of needles back there from Etsy that I ordered, and they sit back there and just wait for me to use them. But I don't think I'll run out of needles. It's a pretty big pack that I had ordered. And it really does take a lot of needles to do this method because you're constantly threading and rethreading and sort of leaving your needles on. But I don't really know how I would do full coverage any other way, because I think this just gives me, kind of a clarity of stitching full coverage. Because I know, even when I find these areas where things are parked in the wrong spot or, my thread's out of place, I can figure it out a little bit more easily because I'm only working in that small little section. It's not like cross country where I worked all over and need to really figure out where I went wrong. It's, I can kind of figure it out a little easier. So even that is kind of nice. This section through here really is like one stitch at a time, one stitch of a color, and then you switch to another color and do one stitch. So I've almost got like 10 colors going in a 10 stitch little section. But as I said before, looking at this piece more, there's definitely some nice areas of block stitching that are coming my way. So I think the piece will offer a variety of some block stitching in some places, and then the more detailed kind of stitching like this in other areas. And it's definitely the areas where the motif sort of switches to something else. You know, like here when we were kind of transitioning from the mouth to the rest of the face, and here we're transitioning into the hair, then we'll transition back into the yellow. Anytime there's that type of motif transition, that's when the color changes really come into play and the confetti really happens. Because you've got so much you're trying to pack into a small space to still give it enough detail. I think this is the last stitch of this color. It's needed in this area. So I will stitch it, I will end my thread, and I'll put the color back. It is always reassuring, I think, when I sort of get to a parked thread, a parked color, and I go to end it. So I end the thread, and then when I go to put the thread back, I always look to make sure it matches. And it is always reassuring when it matches. I don't think I've ever had it not match, but it's just nice, like, okay, yes, this was in the right place. I'm still in the right, still doing the right thing. If it doesn't match, then you know, okay, I just stitched that stitch in the wrong color. And then you have to decide if you want to take it out or not, but I think that's also the final stitch of this color too. And that's what also sort of happens as you're leaving an area of high confetti. Then you have a lot of threads that you're sort of ending because you don't need in that section anymore. as you're kind of moving on to the next motif. I think we are just about at an hour already stitching. Apologies for that little noise. I have everything on a needle minder and sometimes it just gets caught. But yeah, this time really does fly by as as I'm stitching. I guess I will sort of talk about it here because I know Steph at Lindy Stitches, she sort of teased this a little bit in her latest video that she started talking a little bit about Midsummer Stitch. But I will be going to Midsummer Stitch and I will be one of the Flosstubers. So that is super exciting. I was really, really excited when she asked me to do it, and I'm excited. So hopefully you all can make it and we'll get to do a little live hangout. And I'm super excited because I get to be joined by Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot. The two of us are going to be doing it together and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure Steph will formally announce it a little bit as we get closer, but she definitely teased it, so I feel like I'm allowed to say it. And eventually I'll say it on my Flosstube as well, but if you're watching this, you're getting the scoop. I don't know why I feel more nervous doing that than I do doing a live session other times. I do feel really nervous about it, but also excited, more excited that I just will get to spend some time with you and, you know, chat with you, answer any questions you might have. But it is I'm a little nervous too. Here's another short thread that I decided to keep, I think because, again, I think I have 4 stitches of it this time. And this is definitely enough floss to do 4 stitches, so think that's why I kept it. Again, this is the final stitch of this color. I'll double check the chart to make sure it's not somewhere else. Nowhere nearby. What I also love about full coverage is, you can really see when you pull the floss, when you pull a color of floss from the floss cards, because there's so much of that color, it really looks like that color. So what I'm trying to say is that color was actually pink that I just finished. It's like this really light pink. But when I was stitching it, it just looks like white. It doesn't look pink to me. And that's why it kind of works in this section of her hair where her hair looks white. But then when I put it back on the floss card and I see all of the strands of it put together, then the pink really comes through. So it's interesting how a color can look one way when it's in its skein or with a whole bunch of strands of that color, and then it looks totally different when you stitch it with just one strand on the actual piece. I always find that fascinating. It's like you think you're stitching with pink, but then when you finish, you're like, oh no, actually that was just that was just another white color or another gray. Okay, and that one I already have parked in the next spot, so I can end this as well. Actually, you know what? Instead of ending it, there's a few stitches of this color up here that I just noticed. But I think I actually have a strand up there as well. I do. So I am going to end it. Never mind. what I am really looking forward to getting to on this piece, in this diagonal, I should say, are these colors right in through there, those reds and oranges. So I'm getting there, getting close. I might actually get down to that today if I keep working on it. I won't in the video here with you, but if I keep working on it today, I might get there. Sometimes it's hard to know where I should park these threads because I don't want the colors to show through. If there's any lighter colors beside here on this next couple diagonals, I don't want these darker colors to show through the back. Hopefully they won't. But I'm kind of taking a risk with that. Now this color I'm going to end because I have another parked one coming up. So I don't need this one anymore. It's funny, you can just look at the parked threads and know where the high confetti areas were. Like you can see here that I have a whole bunch parked right in through here because all that came from the color changes that we were just sort of working through. This one I already have a needle parked. I don't really have any new shows that I've been watching since the last time I spoke with you. I don't think. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to share. I did really enjoy Palm Royale with Kristen Wiig. I watched both seasons of that, so that's finished. But yeah, I haven't really found my next show. So if you have any suggestions as to what I should watch next while I'm stitching, let me know. I do think now that I have a job again, I think I'm going to probably get a subscription to maybe Disney Plus and Hulu and HBO, and so that I can kind of watch some shows on there. I still haven't seen Heated Rivalry, and I really do want to watch that one. That's appropriate for this month, for Pride Month. But yeah, if you have any show suggestions of what you think I should watch or anything you think I would like, let me know. Or let me know if you don't watch TV when you stitch. Like what do you normally watch? Flosstube? Do you listen to an audiobook? I've done that before. I really enjoy that sometimes. It's nice to have something sort of going in the background as you're stitching. maybe you watch the walks that I film in New York. That would be fun. I do want to get back to those. I do want to film another one of those. I have an idea of where I want to go for my next one. And just got to find the time to do it. Okay, so I don't think I need this one right here, but I am going to park it right down here in the corner. All right, we did a decent number of rows here. Definitely can see more of her like grimace, which I like. I said that before, but we're making our way through this slowly but surely. I think I probably will, maybe I'll do one more row with you. and then we'll stop this session for today. But I do really appreciate you stitching with me, spending a little bit of time with me and Winston, even though he's sleeping. And I hope that you made decent progress on your project, whatever you might be working on. It's been so fun to sort of bring you along for this mystery stitch. I'm so glad that so many of you are enjoying it. I kind of had the idea, but I thought, I don't know if anybody would be interested in it or not. And it's really fun that you're all sort of coming along with me on this journey, and that you're willing to be patient and wait to see what what I'm stitching. We've got a ninja stitch here, now that I know I'm using the term right. This is just one stitch of this one color. And it's a really light color, so you probably won't even see the stitch. Once it's in there, but it goes right in here. It's going to be about the same color as the fabric. There it is. Can you even see it? Here again, it looks white on the piece, but once you get the color on the card, when there's like a whole bunch of strands of it, it's blue. It's like a very, very pale blue. But when you pull just one strand and you stitch it, it looks white, especially in comparison to all the colors and stitches around it. So. That is the neighbor dog that I'm surprised Winston didn't bark at. He really just barks when he hears people in the hallway. It's like the outside things he kind of knows they're not going to bother him. Okay, we're coming up on just the final couple stitches in this row. Then I'll give you the tally of how much I was able to do in this little session. There's another one I can end off because it's done. Okay, and that's where I will stop for this video. So you watched me stitch a bunch of these colors in here, and this part looks a little funny. I guess this is like her hair kind of coming into her neck too. Yeah, her neck, and sort of like, I think we'll see more as we go, but it's kind of like the flap or the top of her coat. So we'll see that kind of progress in the next diagonal too. Hopefully it will make more sense as you pull back and look at it, but she's looking good, I think. So I will continue working on this. Hopefully I'll work on it a little bit more today. So if you're coming back to my next Flosstube, hopefully you'll see even more of an update, and maybe I'll get down into these reds and oranges that I'm excited to stitch. So a few more rows of these grays, and then we'll get into the yellows and oranges, and it'll be fun. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye. Oh, wait, I forgot to show you how many stitches I did. I told you I was going to do it, and then I didn't. So that was 81 stitches I put in this sort of an hour and a half session, which doesn't seem like much, but that was a high confetti area. You saw how many color changes there were. So, and it was fun. I enjoyed it. So, yeah, that's it. All right, I will talk to you soon. Bye.